Life as an anime fan before the Great Shift can be summarized in one word.
What? Hell.
Yes, twin, it really was that bad. Imagine going to school minding your own business and suddenly getting dragged for being a loser who watches voluptuous animated women. I mean, okay, they weren't entirely wrong about that part. But still, compare that today and the rules are completely different. The second you utter the word anime in public, every head turns toward you like a herd of zombies. Suddenly, everyone's in your personal business, hitting you with an entire interrogation. What genre do you watch? What's on your watch list? When was the last time you took a bath? What's the pin to your bank account? With how mainstream anime is nowadays, you can literally walk up to a total stranger, ask them, "Hey, do you watch anime?" And there's an 80% chance they'll go, "Oh yeah, of course. Who doesn't?" Do that back in 2015? Yeah, that sentence. Absolute death sentence. Asking someone that back then was basically putting yourself on a Salem witch trial. Especially if you went to a public school. Because public school kids back then, they were built different. Man, they were not playing with you. They weren't like those fancy pants iPad kids who watch 5-minute crafts or those weird Elsa and Spider-Man videos. Man, we really did survive the Dark Ages. Speaking of Dark Ages, actually finding a specific anime and trying to watch it back then, absolute garbage, trash tier experience, like absolute garbage. Before I discovered the holy land of piracy sites, I was forced to watch anime on YouTube. But it wasn't normal YouTube. No, it was those stupid ass videos shrank down into a tiny 4x3 box floating in the middle of the screen, sometimes totally off-centered. And the audio? It wouldn't even be in Japanese. It wouldn't even be in English. It'd be dubbed in Spanish or pitch shifted so high everybody sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, or spoken in some random ass dialect I'd never heard in my entire life before. To make matters worse, you'd be lucky if you could find the whole episode, because for some reason this script loves splitting a single 20-minute episode into 5 different parts. So not only were you watching a pixelated micro-sized screen with audio that sounded like Jabba the Hutt, but you also had to pray to God that part 3 of 4 wasn't deleted for copyright. And even if you did, the audio wouldn't be consistent at all. 1 minute you're listening to Japanese dub, and the next part, suddenly you're listening to French sirens. Man, Carter was right. It does sound like 3 guys having a threesome. Thank God for my uncle, man. My uncle was an absolute veteran anime watcher. He had this massive 1 terabyte external hard drive packed to the brim with anime. I kid you not, half of that drive was pure anime, and at least 30% of it was just One Piece. Because for some insane reason, this man had downloaded all 700 plus episodes of One Piece onto that drive. And the funniest part? He hadn't even watched them. I ended up finishing all 700 episodes before he even touched that folder. Now, you gotta understand. My uncle was a teenage guy in his prime back then, full of vigor. Which means his anime collection had some extremely questionable titles on it. Let me just drop a few names for you. Kiss Exist, Rosario Vampire, High School DxD, Ryusoga Sora, Strike the Blood, The Familiar of Zero, Heaven's Lost Property, and easily the weirdest thing I saw as a kid, Camp Fear. Ugh. I honestly need to make a whole separate video just about Camp Fear, because that show was beyond wild. But ignoring the fact that the whole half of those lists were basically borderline corn, that hard drive genuinely saved my life. If it weren't for my uncle, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Spending actual rent money on actual pixels and falling headfirst into the gacha honey trap. But hey, at least I didn't have to watch My Hero Academia in 24p on a rotated YouTube video while trying to read Spanish subtitle anymore. So honestly, I'm calling it a win. If you survived the dark ages, drop your worst YouTube anime memory in the comments. And if you grew up in the golden age, well, just you know you have it easy. Peace,